Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome to this Contention season RTA guide. So to start things off, I made like a tier list. Keep in mind this is for turn 2. Like it doesn't necessarily reflect the strengths of like each unit individually. It's more about so yeah, basically S tier. If you play slow, you really want to have those units built. A tier, they're fairly important to have built as well. B tier, they're niche, which means they're nice to have. Having them built is gonna improve your win rate, assuming you draft them correctly. But none of them is mandatory to have. Like A tier isn't mandatory either, but having them built will help a lot because you're gonna draft them a decent amount. But yeah, B tier, you're gonna draft them maybe like each of them 1 in 10, 20 games, depending on the unit, maybe 50 games for some. But like the 1 in 50 game where you want that unit and they give you a free win, yeah, it's pretty nice to have them. So yeah, this is the tier list right now in my opinion. Let's go through maybe S tier and A tier. So Albedo. Okay, Albedo, I'll be honest, she's just insanely overtuned. She was strong last season, but I don't think she was nearly as strong because the meta was fairly different. Now with the third pick ban protection, with like mitigation being very rarely drafted, Anchors being back, which is in my opinion the main reason why Albedo is so strong right now. She's just insane. Like right now, 3F Albedo is just completely insane. So yeah, Albedo, she goes into pretty much any draft. She's almost always good. Tywin. Okay, Tywin's main strengths are that he's good against Monk. He's good against ML Politis, but that's only like mainly because you don't want the ML Politis player to pick Tywin. So like he's good because to deny the pick basically, more than anything. And he's really good against ML Sharon. Those three things, and end guy being a lot less like immunity buffers being fairly rare right now, make Tywin really strong. But he doesn't fit every draft. Like he doesn't fit as many drafts as Albedo. Like he's a very strong unit, but you need to have he needs to make sense in the draft. Yeah. Then ML Ace. Ace has been extremely overbuffed. I'll be honest. Like he's complete nonsense right now. So Ace, kinda like Albedo, he's very rarely a bad pick. But he's a very slow unit. So if you early draft, like you can't really early draft Ace, in my opinion, unless you intend to play aggressive, or unless your opponent is showing you that they want to play really aggressive. Because if you early pick Ace, your opponent can just go really slow, and they're usually gonna win the game. Because even if Ace is insanely strong, he's mostly strong against aggro and in aggro. Like if you play slow versus slow, he doesn't do all that much, right? Like he's really slow at taking turns. He has a lot of healings, he has a lot of strengths, but yeah, like not really enough basically for slow versus slow. But still, like he's just extremely overtuned, so it's very like he's not almost always a good pick, but like very often a good pick, let's say. DDR has been very strong since C3 work. It's just like it's kind of like Albedo right now because of the meta being back to anchors and because the game has so many, like the game right now is basically you have three categories of units. You have HP scaling units like Laia, Senya, Haste, Albedo that have like 30k plus HP that are unkillable. Then you have nukers like Genoa, like Celine, like Gala that just do 13k in one turn for no fucking reason. And that make everything that's not 30k plus HP unplayable because of that. And then you have debuffers because they can control the very big HP units and they can control the nuker. And because so DDR fall into that category and it's the same thing for Monk basically. Like those two, DDR Monk, they're just really good because they can stop they can just stop the 30k HP units from doing their thing because they can just seal them and so they lose a lot of their power. Or they can just control the nuker so they can't do their thing, right? Like if I seal your Genoa, then he's just gonna die. So if I sleep your Genoa, he's just jerking off. So yeah, like he's not gonna do anything. So yeah, that's why DDR and Monk are so strong. Then Sharon is insanely strong in aggro. But I'll be talking about turn 2 right now. I'll be talking about turn 2. For turn 2, she's really important to have if you play with DDR, or if you don't pre-ban DDR. Because she's one of the best counter against him. Like that's basically it. Her S3 is insanely strong. Her S3 is just insanely strong. So yeah, like it's just an insane tempo swing when you can press S3. If you can like defense break stuff, it's just insanely good. And again, she benefits a lot from the meta. Not many people draft cleansers. And again, anchors, Albedo, Haste, DDR, Senya, all of those, like even Candy, Yufin. If I pick Sharon, I press S3, you can immediately cleanse the debuff. Your entire team is defense broken, so like if I have any damage at all, you're gonna fall extremely behind on tempo. So yeah, Sharon really strong right now because of that. Laia, I mean, yeah, like Laia has been strong since her release, so nothing really new. I do think she has fallen off a bit this season, but because like her main strength was being able to just one-tap bruisers, but right now we don't really have bruisers anymore. So I do think she has fallen off a bit. Like she's still extremely strong, don't get me wrong, but she has fallen off a bit. But yeah, like her playstyle, play pattern remain the same. Like nothing has really changed. You play her with mitigation, you play her with like Lua, with Monk, and then you just be a bit like you just stall your opponent until you get to press S3 and then you win the game. And finally, Peira. She's just really strong against quite a few meta units, basically. Like if your opponent picks ML Politis, if they pick Cilias, if they pick Ray DDR, if they pick Sharon, if they pick Ace, if they pick Senya, if they pick Genoa, all of those. And they don't pick a cleanse, because again, cleansers aren't very common right now. Peira is just really good. So that's why I think she deserves S tier as well. Yeah. I think I'll explain for like the tier list. Like yeah, like, I think that's enough. It's gonna be too long otherwise. So that's it for the tier list. Now we're gonna go through the two dominant play styles in my opinion. And we'll start off with the DDR first pick playstyle. So DDR first pick, you want to pre-ban Monk, because you're not first picking Laia, so you want to pre-ban Monk, and you want to pre-ban Politis. Now, if you don't want to pre-ban Politis, you can have potentially, like, if you don't have Tywin, or if you don't want to pre-ban Politis for other reasons, you can ban Sharon instead. You can ban Sharon instead, and it changes the playstyle a bit, but yeah, you can definitely ban Sharon instead. Why would you want to do that? Main reason would be because you don't have Tywin. If you don't have Tywin, DDR first pick doesn't really work because it's really way too weak to Sharon. It's way too weak to Sharon, so it doesn't work. But yeah, if you like, even if you like, if you have other reasons, whatever, if you want to leave Politis open, you will have to build your DDR IER, so you can resist Politis, go after her, and press S3. Otherwise, it's gonna be almost unplayable. Like, it's gonna be pretty much unplayable in my opinion. So yeah, but realistically, if you just have Tywin, you can just pre-ban Nakwall and Politis and call it a day. It's the easiest way to play. So this playstyle, you're gonna first pick DDR, then you're gonna pick Albedo on 2, and then you're gonna pick Tywin on 3. The reason why Albedo on 2 and Tywin on 3 is because, okay, so DDR is weak to ML Sharon, he's kinda weak to Candy, right? Because she is immune to sleep, and he's weak to Celine as well because he wants to press, right? So all of those, Candy gets one tapped by Albedo. And Sharon is really bad against Tywin. And Celine is really bad against mitigation. So there you have it, basically DDR, Albedo, Tywin. I don't care about Sharon, I don't care about Celine, at least not that much. I don't care about much, basically. I don't really care about any bruisers because Albedo kills every bruiser in the game for no fucking reason. And one of the main weaknesses Tywin has is Gala. But since you pick Albedo, you have 20% damage mitigation for free, and she one-taps Gala, so there you go. Like, that's the idea behind the draft, and that's why you really need to have those three, like, you really need those three to play the draft. And yeah, if you don't have Tywin, you can have to pre-ban Sharon if you wanna play DDR. Because Sharon on 3, not much counterplay, I'll be honest. Like, you can pick AOL and stuff, but like AOL, DDR, there's no synergy at all. So yeah, that's the draft. Then for 4-5, it really depends if your first pick, second pick, and like what your opponent drafts, obviously. Ace can be solid if your opponent's trying to like just kill you, basically, because as I said, he's really strong against aggro. Otherwise, then you're gonna have to pick units from the B tier, basically, like A or B tier, depending on what your opponent picks, right? Like, I've been playing a lot of, like, not a lot, but like quite a few different stuff lately. Like, Abigail is pretty good, ADS is pretty good, Arya is good, like, a lot of stuff are like pretty good right now, but not every game, basically. Like, they're just reactive picks. So yeah. And now for the weaknesses, this draft is... Celine can be annoying, I'll be honest. Even if you have mitigation, Celine does a lot of damage right now with her free soul burn, like a lot of damage. Plus she can be on stunny, she can be on extra damage. She does a lot of damage. So it might be fine to press, but sometimes you might want to avoid pressing altogether. So yeah, she can be kind of a pain. Ilias is pretty annoying because you can get run over fairly quickly. As I said, the main cleanse in this team is Tywin S2, right? That's supposed to counter Sharon S3. But if you have more than one debuff, then it doesn't work anymore. So if your opponent picks something like Lilias early, if your opponent goes like something like Lilias Sharon, can be kind of awkward, Granted, this draft is weak to Peyra, so that's when you get to pick Peyra. But yeah, like, you have to keep that in mind. if they pick multiple debuffers, then you're gonna need to pick cleansers on 4 and 5, otherwise you're just gonna get defense broken and die. So yeah, Lilia's pretty good. Flidica is pretty good. I don't really like Flidica overall because she has a lot of weaknesses. 15% being one of them. 15% immunity, Eufine, Politis. Like, she has a decent amount of weakness. But if in the proper scenario, she can be pretty strong because her S2 is gonna proc Albedo S2 and like make it not go off. So Albedo loses her S2. And then you can reset like DDR or Tywin or Albedo or whoever you want. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good tempo. That's a lot of tempo for your side. Then we have Wayong. The reason why is that why she's really good here is because DDR isn't very high HP. Like he's like 20k usually, like 23k maybe at most. Like that's it. And when you draft DDR, your 4-5 picks usually won't be that high HP either. So Wayong can usually kill any of those with RS3, especially because Albedo's mitigation doesn't work against Wayong. Like last season, we had a lot of CR min, so Wayong was a decent amount weaker because of that. Because CR-min S2 is 15% damage reduction that applies to everything. That's not the case for Albedo. She has 20%, but it's only on critical hit. So yeah, Wayong gets to do a lot of damage against Albedo. Then Genoa isn't like particularly good against this draft. It's just he's a very strong unit overall, so I just put it there because yeah, like it deals a lot of damage, so be wary of that. And some people play ER Genoa. That can be fairly annoying depending on your DDR's effectiveness. Yeah. Then Gala. In theory, you're safe against Gala because you have Albedo. But sometimes your opponent gets threatened to just ban your Albedo and then one tap your Tywin, right? So keep that in mind. Like that's why she's here as well. Keep that in mind. And Gala with stuff like Senya can be really annoying. Like if they go like Gala, Senya, it's infinite tempo. Like Gala S3 pushes her team, Senya S3 pushes Gala, Gala S1 again. It can be really hard to keep up for your team. So yeah, that to keep in mind. And finally, Roana. Again, she doesn't crit, so Albedo mitigation doesn't work. She does a lot of damage depending on the build. She can defense break almost like every turn she gets after RS3. And you don't really have a cleanse in this team as I was saying, unless your Tywin gets hit. But Roana can just S1, right? And like she doesn't have to S1 him. So yeah, Roana plus the reset, like reset on DDR, reset on Albedo, reset on Tywin. Pretty annoying to deal with. So keep those in mind. Alright. Yeah, that's it for DDR first pick. Now, if you don't have DDR, if you don't want to play DDR, if you'd rather play Monk, Laia, whatever, let's go see the second playstyle, which is for turn 2, which is Laia first pick, which has been the playstyle for like I think like 2 or 3 seasons now. I think for this playstyle, you really wanna ban Politis. She's really annoying. I cannot. She's massive pain. And you wanna pre-ban Rey. Rey is really strong against Laia, and it makes drafting really, I wanna say, uncomfortable in a way. Like if your opponent first pick, like even if they don't first pick DDR, as long as he's open, like as long as the option is there for them to pick him, it's kinda awkward to play. So it's kinda awkward to play, kinda awkward to draft. So yeah, I think DDR pre-ban is really good if you wanna play Laia. So DDR Politis, your pre-bans. You first pick Laia. What do you play her with? Albedo, because Albedo is broken as fuck, as I was saying. Tywin still goes really well with everything. Ace to make sure if your opponent plays aggro. Selene is pretty good overall because she has good duels, and one of the things Laia really wants to do is stop you want to stall your opponent when you play Laia. Like you want to stall your opponent until Laia gets to press 3 basically. And Celine is really good at stopping your opponents from pressing buttons. So yeah, Celine's pretty good, plus she has a good duel, so good synergy with Laia. Monk, as usual, right? Like you play Laia, you always gonna be picking, like if Monk is open, you're gonna pick her quite often as a free force ban because she's just a great unit like that. And finally, Xiaomin, she isn't that, like she's okay this season. It's just, I think it's like more proactive knights are better right now. Like the main reason why Xiaomin was so good was Yufin. Now that we don't really play Yufin that much anymore, I think more proactive knights are better overall, but Xiaomin is still a good option overall. Like, she's still a good option sometimes. Sometimes. Like she's really, like she's the best mitigation in the game, but sometimes it's not enough. Yeah. So if you play Laia, you want beware of Cilias again. Like really, like Cilias play really high tempo, so it can be really scary. If she's paired with a mage, she can soul burn your Laia, and then you don't have a cleanse anymore for one turn, which can be really annoying. Genoa, as usual, right? Especially like Laia doesn't really have any way to deal with Genoa herself. Like she's gonna need someone in her team to help her deal with him. Like because by herself she's an hyper carry, but she can deal with Genoa. So yeah, she's gonna need support for that. And she can die really fast to Genoa because he's red, so he gets bonus damage on her. Gala, nothing new, right? Gala can one-tap Laia if you don't have mitigation. Kind of annoying. Now we have Ravi. I don't think Ravi is that good, but she isn't that bad either. Like, you need to be careful if you draft solo carry Laia. You might have issues with Ravi. Like, you might have issues with Ravi. She's fairly low tempo. She doesn't do all that much. But at some point, you're gonna need to kill her. And when that arrives, when you get to that point, if you just have Laia, you won't kill her. So, yeah, beware of that. Spez paired with Arrowell and stuff can be really annoying for Laia. Like I go Arrowell, I go Spez. Like you can have to do something about it, but you can't really. Yeah, Arrowell Spez can be a massive pain in the ass, so beware of Spez, and finally beware of Shu as usual, right? Like nothing new. Your hyper carry is an HP scaling unit, so Shu is like the best injury unit in the game after DDR. So yeah, Shu can be a pain in the ass. Alright. So that's it for the two play styles and the tier list. Now I'll just be going through my units real quick so you can like see my builds and what I've been running. So Abigail, my Abigail is really bad, but whatever, doesn't really matter. Like again, I don't draft her all that much. Ideally you want more HP, that's the main thing. Like I don't think I think for her you want like 200 speed, 20k plus HP, and like just damage after that. It doesn't really matter how much damage you have, but yeah. Like ideally you want like something like my build plus like 2k HP, 3k HP. But yeah, she's pretty good against Gala, she's pretty good against Celine. And she's pretty good against Genoa too sometimes. Assuming he's NTR. If he's ER, she's pretty bad. But if he's not, she's pretty good against Genoa as well. Genoa, Celine, Gala. She's decent against Laia as well. She's decent against Ace. Ace, actually, I wouldn't say Ace, because most Ace have ER, so she can defense break, but she's pretty good against Gala, at least. Against Laia. So yeah, Laia, Gala, Genoa sometimes, and Celine. Pretty good against those. Edward, I have full damage Edward still. I don't think injury is very good. This is just for run, right? Like run presses 3, I kill everything, GG. Keep in mind though, this season anchors are back, so you can play Ed against you can play Ed nearly as much. If your opponent goes run and they have like Senya, you can go Ed because Senya is gonna be on Bastion, and NS2 won't do any damage. So yeah, keep that in mind. And same if they have Ace in their team, like killing everyone is nice, but you need to be able to kill Ace too, like otherwise gonna kill someone and revive everyone. So yeah. Ravi, I think my build is like, it's pretty bad, but again, you want like, I think you want like 25k plus HP, because like there's a lot of high damage units in the game, so that ignore defense too, so you really want high HP right now. Like 25k plus HP, destruction or counter, artifact, you can do Sigurd, you can do flag, you can do Scholtier's artifact, you can do a lot of stuff, doesn't really matter honestly. Yeah. Like, yeah. Just something along those lines, like around 170 speed, high HP. Attack is nice, but HP takes priority overall. Crit damage neck, of course. And yeah. Because she doesn't need crit, so crit damage neck. Fire Livias, I've been trying her out. I think she's quite good, honestly. Again, quite niche, but she's okay. You can do destruction, you can do speed. You want decently high HP, and I think Bastion is really good. But you can also do Aureus or Adamant, depending on how you draft her. All of those are fine options. And yeah, just like some speed, decent bulk, and some damage. Genoa, mine is like that. Artifact, always win Rider, no matter if you go ER, no matter if you go whatever you want, always win Rider. It's best in slot by far. For build, for stats, you want, like, I think mine is pretty good. You can go minus, like, give or take 30 speed. You can go 200, you can go 260. Really up to preference, really up to like the way you play. If you want to go ER, go 150 plus ER, like between 150 and 200 ER. And you take the gear score from your speed. So you go like 170 speed or so. Right? Like you go like 160, 170 speed, and then you go really high ER. Like obviously you're gonna lose a bit of damage as well, but like that's the idea. Okay, Bihu is, I think it's pretty good right now, surprisingly. He's good against Candy, he's good against Senya, he's good against Gala, he's good against Ace to some extent, he's really good against Genoa, he's good against Celine to some extent. So yeah, pretty good unit right now, I would say. Nice to have built. For build, like, you just, the speed doesn't really matter, you just tune with your team basically. Mine goes after my DDR. I quite like it like that, but it doesn't matter that much honestly. You can go before, you can go after. Like his S3 is non-contact anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And yeah, like ideally you want more HP than defense, but it's kinda hard on him to do because, yeah, he gets extra defense. Artifact, this thing for sure. And yeah, make sure not to mollize S1. So the reason why he's really good into Genoa is because you can S1 Genoa. So I need to drink a bit. So you can S1 Genoa. It won't proc him, but then you will detonate and it's gonna proc his immortality. If you mollize S1, you're gonna proc his S2 potentially. If you don't, you do 0 damage on S1, so you're not gonna proc anything. So yeah, make sure not to mollize S1. Bihu, Politis, I almost never draft her right now. It's mostly a build to against ML Politis, but I pre-ban her, so yeah, just good against non-attack with no cleanse basically. Elvira, sometimes good against Yufin. Yufin and Yufin LHC, but you rarely see her. Bellona, you rarely see her. Ravi, from time to time, can be good against her. Yeah. She doesn't she doesn't really need good gear, she doesn't really need anything honestly, so she's nice to have built. Doesn't cost much. Sometimes you'll draft her. Pera, I think you need like 300 plus on Pera and it's okay. It depends what you want to draft her against, basically. The way I draft mine, 300 is more than enough. So yeah. Just speed and some effectiveness. SSB, she's okay sometimes. Nothing crazy, like some situations she can be okay. You can do Destruction, Bloodstone, or you can do Lifesteal Drink. Like both are fine. And yeah, you do want a bit of damage though. Like the damage is quite important on her actually. Arya, nothing new, right? Like, it's been like that forever. For EE, you want this one. Like that way you get to S2 after the first attack. It's really, it's very very good. It's very strong. Elena, nothing too special either. Like my Elena is on pretty bad build, bad gear, doesn't really matter. I almost never draft Elena. The way I draft Elena is when my opponent pre-ban Bidom, or like not even pre-ban Bidom, but like some people play full damage Roana right now. And so the way they set up for Roana is they pick Elena, they will pre-ban or pick Adin, and then they will pick Peira on 3, and then they will pick Roana. When you see Adin into Peira, you can assume it's gonna be a full damage Roana coming after. In which case, Elena is a very, very good pick. Because if Peira press, you're gonna resist. Like most Peira don't really add that high effectiveness. You're gonna resist, you're gonna cut, you're gonna S3. Do you even cut? Wait, you don't cut actually. Wait, it kinda sucks. Yeah, you don't even cut. Never mind, Elena sucks dicks, what? Elena sucks, man, what? Ah, my bad, Elena sucks. Alright, Laia, nothing new. 250 plus speed, as much HP and defense as you can. You can make her up to 300, 310 speed if you have insane gear, like, it's really up to you. Just keep in mind, the lower your HP, the harder it's gonna be for her to act as an hyper carry, because then she won't be able to kill anything with her S3, so yeah. Keep that in mind when you build her. Rimuru, gear doesn't really matter, so you sometimes pick him against Gala, that's it. I don't think this build is very good. I think quite a pretty good build for Rimuru is speed set, and like Carrot's build, basically, like really high attack on Uber Justus. So you kill Gala really easily. But yeah, like this build works too. Like honestly, almost never draft him. It's just like sometimes it's nice to have. So Albedo, yeah. Like she wants HP, speed, some effectiveness, like 80 plus, 80 to 100 effectiveness, and like defense. For speed, you just tune her with your team basically. Like I have a fairly fast DDR, so I made a fairly fast. I know. Like I just like the cycling basically. Like that's really it, honestly. I just really like the cycling, so I made hers fairly fast. And I actually tuned DDR. I made DDR pretty fast because of her actually, so it would go before her. But yeah, I just like the cycling, so like I get to S2 very often, which is really nice. So yeah. And 3F is best in slot. Like she's just a bruiser right now, basically. She's a bruiser that also gives mitigation to your team. So yeah, she's just insanely strong because of that. Yeah, you can go slower, you can go faster, it's really up to you. You can go counter as well, but I wouldn't drop, even on counter, I wouldn't drop below 200 speed. I think cycling on her is really important. And effectiveness is really important too right now. Yeah, let's not talk about this one. She's kinda useless. Yeah, this is for strays, but like almost no one plays strays right now. Celine, yeah, just full damage. Like you can go a bit slower, I think, depending on your gear. I wouldn't go below 180 speed. And yeah, like between 180 and 200 speed, and then full damage. Like that's it. For EE, I'm on this right now. You can do stun as well. I think highest attack is like the worst one, and yeah, so either stun or the extra damage on S3, both are really strong. And obviously this, like what else? My Gala is awful, but sometimes you get to, like sometimes it's a force ban because your opponent plays really greedy, so might as well have some gear on her, just in case they don't, and they end up not banning her. For artifact, you want Wind Rider for sure, but I only have one in San Genoa, so yeah. Luluka, she just wants speed and effect resistance, that's it. That being said, she's garbage without ice crystal. So yeah, I only have 2 ice crystal. They're on Sharon and DDR, so I basically never draft Luca right now. Like Luca without ice crystal is just like insanely bad. So yeah, but yeah, just like full effective, full ER and speed. That's it. Tywin, just protection set. Protection set with some speed. ER is useless. Effectiveness can be okay, but it's really not the priority because you're so slow. Like you don't really get to take advantage of it. So yeah, just HP, defense, speed, and go speed boots. So you're like 160 plus at least. Okay, Belayan, just protection Belayan, nothing special. I pick when my opponent goes like 1 or 2 books early, right? Doesn't cost much. Siarmin, nothing new. You probably noticed nothing has immunity anymore because like no one really plays Lua anymore. So like yeah, not much point to immunity anymore. Senya, my Senya is really bad. I don't really draft her. I do think she's okay though. You want to tune her to go either way before your backline or right after your backline to make sure you take advantage of this, right? Of like the push she provides to your backline. So for instance, mine, when I was playing her, I was playing her with Genoa. I'm 228 speed. So I made back then I made my Senya 220. So it would be Genoa goes, then Senya goes and pushes it. So I get the full push. So yeah, for speed, so yeah, just tune her depending on what you need, and then like as much as HP as you can, and like that's it. And then defense. Like she doesn't need any other stats. For artifact, in my opinion, the best on her is Bastion, because it's just a very versatile artifact. Like you can't really go wrong with a very big barrier and immunity, right? So like, it's just very good. It's good against Ran. It's good against like Gala. It's good against a lot of stuff. So yeah, Bastion, best in slot, and then otherwise probably maybe 3F. 3F is good on her. The thing is, it's very greedy. Like 3F is kind of win more artifact on her, in my opinion, in the sense that you only really get 3F value. Like the most value you get out of 3F is when you get to proc S2 and then S3. But if you get to proc S2 and then S3 with Senya, you're usually winning the game. And if you're not winning the game, the extra damage from 3F is very rarely gonna be it's very rarely gonna make enough of a difference to make you win the game, right? So yeah, like, it's good, but it's really not necessary. Like Bastion is better in my opinion. Candy, full damage Candy is kinda dead right now, I think, because like the main reason for full damage Candy was to draft her with Cilias. Now that we don't draft Cilias as well, now that Cilias kinda fell off, like there's no reason for full damage Candy, so I just went for a fairly bulky one. So yeah, I can survive quite some stuff. HP is way more important than defense for like every unit right now, but yeah, my gear is I don't have really high HP PCs, like not that many. So, but like if I could make like 20k HP, 1.5k defense, I would, for instance. Like it's a lot better right now. I pick her sometimes against. So if people also go something like Ace, Peira, Roana, stuff like that, I'll pick Adin. She's pretty good. Like against Sharon, Ace as well. Just be careful, she's pretty bad against Genoa, because she procs him for free. So yeah, just make sure, like usually you draft her late when there's no Genoa. And this artifact, because I want to kill Ace when I draft her usually. Yeah, I don't draft this shit. AOL, yeah, she's on like kinda shit gear. Immunity for like Flidica and stuff. And just fast. I think for artifact you go proof, because most of the time when you play well, she's gonna get focused. And yeah, but I only have one proof, so it's unsure right now. So, but yeah, AOL proof, and then you go like immunity and like fairly fast and just full bulk. I don't think effectiveness and ER really matter. Okay, ER doesn't matter at all, that's 100%. Effectiveness does matter to some extent. I'd go like 80. 80 effectiveness is quite nice to have, I think. But yeah, my gear is, yeah, what can you do? Solitaria, my Solitaria is really bad. I think Solitaria right now wants really high effectiveness. You go effectiveness priority, then speed. Like you go 250 plus speed, then as much effectiveness as you can. Because most of the time you draft her against Shu, and every Shu, like a very good amount, a very high amount of Shus right now are ER. So if you go and go like 250 effectiveness, you can just debuff them every turn. And then they're completely useless. So yeah. Sharon, I'm not an aggressive player, right? So I have a fairly slow Sharon because I mostly, when I draft her, I don't really draft her for tempo. I draft her, like I want her to survive basically, right? Like I just want her to survive. So I just made a very bulky Sharon. But if you want to play more aggressive, you can make a faster one, like it works just as well. Ice Crystal is the best in slot as usual. If you want to play really aggressive, you can play a Green Sharon's artifact instead. But Bidom, again, I'm not like I just go fairly high bulk, I'm fairly slow. I almost never draft her, mostly draft her against Spera, and even then only from time to time. ER is completely useless on her as usual, like it's just my gear as ER, so what can you do? Our gear is so bad, okay. But yeah, like if you wanna go anything, go effectiveness. Like her S1 sleep is pretty good. Like don't go ER. Bellona, yeah, I don't know, just high damage one. You can go fairly tanky. Ideally, if you go tankier Bellona, you want like 20k plus HP, but I can't, I don't know. I quite like mine like that, honestly, like just high damage, just one tap stuff. Don't draft her all that much anyway. Kawerik, mine is on pretty shit gear because I had to give his ring to Lilias to try her out. But yeah, like it's not too bad either way, it's okay. Ideally you want like more HP than that, and like I think you can go like 210, 220 speed. I wouldn't go above 220 speed because you want to go again after Albedo and stuff. You wanna go after Albedo, after Sharon, after Albedo, after Sharon, after Elvira sometimes. So yeah, I quite like slow end guy because of that. And then damage, because if you're slow, might as well do something with the stats. Like having 30k HP and 200 speed is completely pointless, so... Shu, I think this is the best build for Shu. It's just you want Sweet Miracle, so... But it's on Laia, so... Yeah. But I think this build on Shu with Sweet Miracle is the best by far. If you can't make that, you can do IER Shu on Bastion. I don't personally like it. I feel like it's too slow tempo, but it works, so yeah. It works for some people, so yeah. Yufin, nothing really new. 160 plus speed. You can go Destruction, you can go Lifesteal, you can go Elbrich, you can go Olisac. Every build has its pros and cons. It just depends what you face, basically. Like there's no universal best build. So just go whatever you prefer, basically. Sometimes it's gonna be better, sometimes it's gonna be worse. What can you do? Don't really draft this. I mean, I can show you, but don't really draft her. I just built her because why not? ADS quite good right now. Ideally, okay, ER is useless. Ideally, you want like 80 to 100 effectiveness as usual, and at least 17k HP, and then as much speed as you can. So like ideally, I would trade all of my ER for like 50 speed. But I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to do, but like that's the idea. Like ER is useless, you just want speed, effectiveness, and HP. And on counter. Counter is really good on her. And she's pretty good against team with no cleanse, right? Like, she just kills everyone, GG. Spectre, just full damage Spectre. I mean, I need infinite mod gems, but yeah. Whatever. Just full damage Spectre when your opponent drafts no reach at all, right? Big Spectre, GG. Make sure she's slower than Albedo, because I really want to do Albedo S3 into Spectre S3. That's it. Zio, nothing special, just draft him when my opponent goes, I mean, if they go like Ran or Gala, it's kind of awkward, because most Gala, like, quite a few Gala are ER for no reason. But yeah, if they go like run and stuff, you can just go Zio, right? If they don't pre-ban him. Nothing special. Artifact, this one is garbage. Ideally you want... I think Time Matter is really good, but I don't have it, so... yeah. Haste, just counter full bulk. You can go ER or effectiveness. I would go... if you have to go either of those, I would go effectiveness over ER. But you can go ER too, it's okay. It's not bad. You definitely want counter, definitely want Celestine. And yeah, I think you want more HP than defense, but it's my Karina's gear, so... yeah, I'm on HP neck. I'm on defense neck. Yeah, I don't have a good HP neck, so yeah. But like, ideally, I'd rather be like 30k HP, 2k defense, but... what can you do? Finally, DDR. Ice Crystal, best in slot, unless you wanna play him against ML Politis, in which case you go really high on Soul Consolation. But otherwise, always Ice Crystal. For speed, you can go anywhere from 220 to 260, I would say. From 220 to 260. And then you go for effectiveness, 100 to 200 effectiveness. 200 and some. You can go like 250 maybe. If you really dislike ER players. Like 100 to 250 effectiveness. And then as much bulk as you can. Again, HP before defense. Just my gear, I'm on defense next, so I don't have anything else. But ideally HP over defense. And yeah, like that's it. Like tune him however you want. It's really up to you. It's really up to preference. Really up to like the rest of your units. So yeah. And that's pretty much all I play. So alright. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Hope you have a great day. Peace.